Hi, welcome to Let's Talk Real Estate. I'm your host, Charlie Flannery, and my guest today is an actor and a police detective, Mr. Talli Clemons. Detective,
How are you?
welcome to Let's Talk Real Estate.
Thank you, thank you.
May I call you Talli?
Absolutely.
You can call
Absolutely.
me Charlie.
Charlie, what's going on?
All right, thank you, Talli. I had read about your story, and we made contact. And I know that you had a very sad loss in your life.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you want to share it with the people. I know it must be tough.
Yeah, it's very difficult. A couple of months ago, I lost my wife.
That's tough.
She was killed.
Oh.
And, due to my line of work, I have no clue why. I don't know if it was a random act of violence or if it was directed to send like a direct message to me. I'm reminded every day when I look at my ring, and she gave this to me, and she said she loved me. And one of the things I regret is, due to my job, and I'm a hard worker, and I do it all for my family, and sometimes I get lost in the work.
We all do.
Exactly.
As men, it happens to us,
So, I'm in the streets, I'm running around, I'm doing tons of overtime, and I never got the chance to tell her that I love her before she left. And,
It's all right,
it's
man.
been,
Only the phony tough are afraid to cry.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, excuse me.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah,
so I know that you've been on the police force for how long now?
About 15 years.
Yeah, and when did you make detective?
About 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah.
And have you been with the gang unit that whole time?
No, I started off at Vice.
Uh huh.
I was at Vice for a while, and I dove right in. I seen a lot on the streets growing up as a kid, and I knew I wanted to do this as a kid. When you're a kid and everyone's playing cops and robbers?
Yeah.
I always played the cop.
Oh, okay.
I always played the cop, and I just wanted to make a difference.
You see, you were smart. I always played cowboys and Indians. I played the Indian. I always lost.
Oh, man. The neighborhoods, we play cops and robbers,
But so now you found a reason to go back.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You're going to try to get your 2 daughters. Now, I don't want to. We talked before the show.
Yeah.
And we agreed for security reasons we weren't going to disclose which large city in Massachusetts you were on the police department with as a detective, and we're gonna get your 2 little girls. How old are they now?
6 and 3.
Huh? That's a tough age.
Yeah.
The 3-year-old, I bet, probably doesn't really understand too much.
She doesn't understand right now what's going on, but you can definitely tell she knows that something's missing.
Yeah.
She knows something's missing. She's looking. She asks for her mommy.
Yeah.
And I've spoken to her sister about it, and the sister knows what happens, and the older sister has a lot of questions.
Sure. It's 6.
A lot.
I've raised 6 kids, 4 girls, 2 boys.
Did you?
And they, believe me, they know a lot more than you think they know.
Absolutely. Well, think about it. When we were kids, we knew a lot more than what they thought.
Everything,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's a real tough time right now. Transitioning, trying to keep a low-key profile, and moving from here and there, and the whole situation itself has just been extremely hard on me, and looking for a place to stay right now, low-key, man.
Well, that's why when I contacted you and because I had heard about your plight, and I said, I gotta help this guy get his 2 kids out of that city. Yeah. And I believe me, I've been doing this for 29 years. I almost never do rentals.
Yeah.
Almost never do rentals, but because of the urgency of the situation, I'm gonna, I'm working with you. We're gonna find something, get those kids out of that place, in the next week.
Yeah, that's a solid favor. I appreciate it a lot, man.
well, you know, I'm proud to do it. You know what I mean? I wish I was there. I wish if I were a young man, I'd be in the front lines myself. You know?
Yeah. It's tough.
You don't have to agree with me that quickly. You know what I mean about me not being a young man.
Well, you know, so much going on. I'm glad you mentioned that, actually. You know.
I'm sorry.
You remind me.
I don't mean to inject any kind of humor into the situation because we were getting kind of dark there for a while.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely.
You know,
I need the humor.
You do.
I need the humor.
You do.
Know,
How do you get through the day without it? You know.
Well, it needs to be part of my life.
Yeah.
You know. How else am I gonna get through? I can't mope around.
Yeah.
I mean, if I sit in the sorrow, I'll wind up doing nothing.
Yeah.
And what good is that? My wife she doesn't know me for someone who sits around and sits in the sorrow and doesn't do anything. My daughters don't know me for being that type of human being.
Yeah.
You know, what good am I gonna be for them?
Right.
You know?
So now in the gang unit, do you generally work solo, or do you have a partner, or does it mix it up? Sometimes you go with a crew. Or
yeah, I got some. Some wonderful partners, but you know, truthfully, the streets. I'm a detective. You know, and I'm from the streets, so the streets it's always calling me. You know what I mean? It's like a drug.
Back. Yeah.
You know, it's like that one thing you just can't put down. So it's always calling me. You know, and so yeah, I walk the beat alone. I walk the beat alone. I get right out there, right up in their faces, and hey, what's up? How's it going? You know, and that's how it is for me. You know,
kind of like a good Denzel.
Yeah, I'm better than Denzel. Way better than Denzel.
So are you like the wolf of the streets out there?
Am I like the wolf?
Yeah.
Give me an interpretation of a wolf. Let me hear you howl like a wolf.
Well, let me see if I can do it here.
See if you can do it.
Ow, 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 ow!
Man, I didn't say it sound like a chicken. You sound like a chicken, or is that a rooster? I don't know what that was. Let me hear you sound like a wolf.
Ow, 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 ooh!
Nah, man. A wolf is ow, 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 and bark. And that's how I am out there.
Oh yeah, I like.
They know when I'm coming through.
Yeah.
You know, there goes Detective Talli. You know, they're either gonna run or they're gonna stand there and you know and shake and rumble in their boots because they know what I'm about. You know what I'm. You know, if they see me coming, they know they're up to no good. I'm throwing a cramp in their program, brother.
Now, for the folks down here in Taunton, as far, I mean, we see a lot. Just like a lot of cities, we're starting to see, you know, a lot of drugs, a lot of violence. But I, to the best of my knowledge, so far, no organized gangs. They may be controlling it from Boston, but they're not down here with a major presence so far. Yeah. Now, one of the things I read about was you got to be on the lookout for, what do they call it? The gang, when they...
Graffiti.
Gang graffiti.
Absolutely.
Versus like just some knucklehead that thinks tagging with a spray can of paint is fun.
Absolutely.
So what do they look like? What should the citizens of Taunton be on the lookout for in their neighborhood if they see something, you know? I mean...
Well, a clear sign of gang-related graffiti for a citizen would be specific things like, I'm gonna kill you. Well, watch out for such and such. If you see a name and there's a cross out, like if it's spray painted, red, blue color spray paint, crossing out red, or blue cross, or red crossing out the blue. But for the most part, as a detective, we're trained to decode the code of the streets. Now, an average citizen looks at spray paint, they're not gonna know, they may just think it's art. We're trained to tell the difference. You know, we can look at it and say, oh, those are guys from 19th Street or from over on Bailey Street, and they're crossing out the guys over there on St. Joseph Street, or one of those type of things. We can tell the difference, you know, and there's art and then there's a message.
Then you know you need to make a trip over to that neighborhood,
Absolutely.
Send the wolf down, and scope things out.
Oh, yeah,
maybe,
you
know,
absolutely.
Put a little fear of God in there.
That's right, and for the most part, we know who's who. We know what gangs are warring with each other. You know, we know what gang is spray painting what and what they use. Again, it's decoding, and we know.
Now, these kids get into gangs.
Okay.
You know, a lot of them, they come from broken homes.
Absolutely.
they never had a father figure in their life.
Yeah, absolutely.
They finally get some idiot who tells them this is how it is, and they think, you know, they look up to the guy.
Yeah.
And, you know, you wonder sometimes if there's 20 or 50 or 100 people in a gang, how many really would be on salvation? You know what I mean? Is it just like half a dozen bad guys and the rest of the kids you might be able to reach somehow if you could only mentor them or something?
Yeah.
Do you find it easier talking to some kids and maybe, just maybe, a little of what you're saying is sinking in?
Yeah. You know, when I was in the streets, I had guidance counselors. I had police officers tell me the right direction or what's the best direction. But my attraction as a teen growing up was pretty much what I saw looking out that window. I mean, it looks good. You know, they have the best rides. They have the best looking women. You know, they have the jewelry. I mean, who doesn't want that? You know, and that's one of the fears that, you know, that broken home thing, now that my wife, you know, she's gone, and I have these two daughters who they're gonna see the streets. And, you know, and I fear that they're gonna be misguided looking for that mother figure, and they're gonna be misguided by maybe a female, and I can only do what I can. You know, and so, you know, it's really tough on me. But the broken home thing, once you have a broken home and you don't feel like you're a part of your own family, you search elsewhere.
Yeah.
You search elsewhere for family.
You got to fill that hole.
Exactly. And as a teen, you don't know what the right family is if you're not accepted in your own family or feel accepted in your own family. You're going to go out there and you're going to look for love. And you know the old saying, looking for love in all the wrong places.
You know, and part of it is not only, I mean, it's magnified, I think, when they come from a broken home, but part of it is just natural teenage rebellion, too.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, I remember growing up through teenagehood, and you know, my father, I didn't come from a broken home. My father was the greatest guy.
Yeah.
You know, I look back, he's the one guy I know that never told me any baloney.
Yeah.
He always gave me the straight
Absolutely.
and narrow story, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought he was so full of baloney. I thought he didn't have anything figured out. He didn't know which end was up. And then when I was 19, I moved into Boston, and the biggest idiots, you know what I mean? The biggest idiots that were doing all kinds of crazy stuff, I listened to them and I say, now this guy, you know,
He's the one.
he knows what he's talking
Absolutely.
about. Instead of my
Absolutely.
father that never steered me wrong. You know, I listened to, you know, and I got lost during my 20s. You know what I mean? Like a lot of kids.
Yeah.
You know?
Me too. I mean, it happens. It's a process. You know, misinformed by the misinformed.
Yeah. But I mean, some of them are still reachable.
Exactly.
I want to believe.
Exactly.
I want to believe, because I know it was only, what, a dozen or so years ago, we lost almost an entire generation.
Yeah.
To drugs.
Yeah.
To prison.
Absolutely.
To war.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's like there's a lot of damage.
It's a sad story.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Charlie, you have to take a look at yourself.
Oh, please no.
Well, yeah, you're all right. You're all right looking, man. You're pretty decent looking. But it's what we think about ourselves. You know, we made it through. We are examples. You know, we've made it through that process, and everyone goes through it. You know, but everyone goes through it a little bit differently. I mean, the choices we have are sit back and watch it happen and become a part of the problem. Or we can dive in, speak to these kids growing up, and be part of a solution. I mean, let them know that there is possibilities. There's possibilities for a good future. Like, you know, when I was young, I didn't think, well, I'm 15 years old, I didn't think past 20. You know, I didn't think about, you know, having kids and a wife.
Yeah. No, who
you know,
does?
It's time's short.
Yeah.
You live for the day, you don't think for the future. And a lot of us don't think.
Forever, you know?
Exactly. I mean, who looks
I was
20?
I was talking to a friend of mine, all right, last week, and he's almost reaching retirement age. And he says, gee, Charlie, he says, you know, I never really had a real good job. I had a series of jobs. There was no really retirement accounts with them or 401ks and all that stuff.
Yeah.
He says, so now I'm looking at retirement. He says, I'm going to get a little bit of Social Security. You know, and I'm lucky if I got 10 grand saved in the bank, you know, and he says, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I said, you know, Harry, living the way we were living back when we were 20, 25, if somebody said, place $20 on whether you're going to live to be 65 or not, you had to take the under on that bet.
Absolutely.
There was no over.
No
you
over
know what I mean?
whatsoever.
So you bet and you lost. It's not the first time, but you make it through. You know, if you're a survivor, you always survive.
Yeah.
You know, the important thing is we're here.
Yeah.
You know, I got a phone call from a buddy of mine that I used to play in a band with years ago. This is about a year ago he called, and he told me about this fellow bandmate, a guitar player that we work with, right, that had just died. And Talli, the first thing that went through my head was, I got a call, and then I realized those 3 guys were dead.
Wow.
There was nobody to call except the guy I was talking on the phone with. We were the last 2 of the 5 or 6 guys in that band from just 25 years ago.
Got to be grateful.
You know what I mean?
Got to be grateful. Wow.
And, you know, you see it, I'm sure, every day.
Every day.
Lost souls.
Every day.
What time, what age do you see kids starting? Are they still as much into heroin, or is it still crack, or are they into the designer drugs? What are the kids doing? What do the parents need to be on the lookout for? That's what we want. You know, you're a parent, I'm a parent. What do we need, what the parents need to be on the lookout for?
Well,
whether it be just for gang action or drugs.
Yeah, there are some obvious signs. One of the first things I notice is that, you know, you have a relationship with your child. When things aren't going right, the first thing the child does is start to respond differently. They start to isolate, come in the house straight to the room. That's because they don't want you to see how they're looking or how they're feeling. They don't want you to see any emotions that's going on.
Yeah.
New drugs out there today, Molly.
Molly?
Yeah. You look at it, think it's detergent or something, throw it away and don't have any idea. That's what the kids are using these days.
You
got Oxycontin.
Looks like powdered Tide or something like that?
Yep. And it's a horrible thing. These kids are getting on it.
It's not like those bath salts, is it?
I would say it's pretty close.
Yeah.
I mean, kids are doing what
either, no.
I haven't messed with any of that stuff, but I know one thing: these kids are doing whatever it takes to get it, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
You put something in your system, now it leads you to something else. Now you have to go out, you have to keep getting it. You got Oxycontin, you got the heroin, and it's spreading like wildfire in this area. It's spreading. You know, kids will do anything to get it.
They used to bring a lot of it in to Rhode Island, to
right
Central
off the
Falls.
boats.
To Central Falls, a lot of it used to come up here.
Oh yeah, I busted a few guys
now
down there.
A lot of it comes up from New Bedford, or they bring it from New York City up to Boston, down here.
Oh yeah.
But not a day goes by.
Yeah.
And Taunton's only got about 55,000 people. I mean, it's a city.
Yeah.
But it's it's not as big as, say, Springfield or Worcester. Maybe about the same size as Worcester.
Yeah.
You know, but it's a decent city. I mean, we don't have the extreme problems like a Lawrence does, you know, or a Springfield. You know what I mean? With some hardcore bad stuff going down.
Yeah.
But we've lately, you know, shootings are on the rise, home invasions. You know, and you know yourself from being, you know, being on the streets, being a detective.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, a home invasion is not a guy like me at home and they think, hey, he might have a nice TV.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a drug deal. They know there is drugs being stored there or drug money.
Set. They go in, they know what they're looking for, and they run right in.
It's a business deal.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I think more. I don't know how your department handles it, but I think down here it seems like they try to, when they report the story, they try to let the public know that it could have been an incident of you know, drug deal gone
Relations,
bad.
yeah.
Just so
Absolutely.
the average citizen doesn't think, oh my God, there's all the, you know, they're going to come do it to me for my TV or something.
Yeah,
And that's,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah, that's
there's enough
not
fear
the
out
case.
there now.
You know, people don't want to break into your house and run into someone who's there.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody's there, it's definitely because they know that you have something that they want. Bottom line, you know, don't be in fear. Don't live your life in fear. You know, you won't do anything. You'll lock yourself and you'll be in prison in your own house. You know, enjoy your days. You know, these people know what they're looking for. Okay, it's
Let me ask you something. You had told me off camera before that your late wife was a school teacher.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, and you got 2 daughters. Okay. If one of them or both of them came to you and said, "Daddy, we want to be cops." Now I know if they both came and said, "Daddy, we want to be school teachers," you'd go, "That's nice." Mama would love that. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I want to be a cop. Now you know how tough that is.
Yeah.
But
It's dangerous. You know, I've been
Yeah,
injured
yeah.
on the force. I've been injured out there on the streets.
Yeah.
You know, stabbed a couple of times, shot, and it's a tough thing, you know. But I love my daughters, and hopefully by the time they come up and make that real decision, because how many times as a kid you said you wanted to be this?
Oh,
and be
yeah.
that, you know, and then you process life and you get to a certain age and you say, this is what I really want to be. Sometimes it's what you said when you was a kid, and sometimes it changes. Deep inside, in my heart, I would hope that it changes. But if they decide,
really, honest to God, when I was 3 years old, I never thought of being a TV host.
yeah, I hear you.
That's mostly because TV wasn't invented yet. No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. I'm not that old. I'm not quite that
I'm
old.
agree with you, man. You
I
know,
know, you know. That's why this is going to be your
I'm gonna
last
agree
final
with you.
appearance.
Oh, you
Unless
gotta
I
bring me
gotta
back,
bring you
brother.
back.
Come
Once-
on now.
Maybe once the kids get acclimated and stuff, because
Yeah.
you know we just air locally
Okay, yeah.
on TCAM TV. If it's on Verizon Channel 22 and Comcast Channel 15.
Okay.
So, you know, we could have the kids on here maybe at some point, you know, and,
Yeah,
and it's,
get 'em on here.
if you're, you know, in that other big city that's
Yeah.
several miles away from here, you know,
Yeah.
nobody will ever see the thing. So it would be nice, you know, once they
yeah.
get acclimated and
Yeah,
stuff.
they're great
and-
kids too,
yeah,
man.
Yeah,
You know, they're wonderful, man. I mean,
yeah. Do you find time to, you know, like I told you, I raised 6 kids,
yeah.
you know, and,
Excuse me.
yes, sir.
How the heck does that work out for you, man?
Well,
You don't want to tell me the secrets, man. I might be, you know,
Well,
I need some help here, man.
it was a yours, mine, and ours situation. I mean, I got married when I was a kid,
Okay.
and it was babies having babies.
Babies having babies.
You know what I mean?
I fear that.
I didn't even know what a regular job was. You know what I mean? I didn't even know what a regular job was when I'm having a baby, you know? I had to quit school. I had to leave college for a few years and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And then that lasted about 7 years, and then, you know.
Did you think young man got
I was only a young kid, man. You know, I mean, it was like 27, 28. Oh my
Okay.
God, I'd ride that green line from Kenmore Square
Yeah.
up to Cleveland Circle. I'd be sitting there, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
with my long
Oh,
hair,
man, I
you know,
understand
carrying a
that.
guitar or
Yeah.
something. You know what I mean? And there'd be this
Ladies,
beautiful
check it
looking
out.
girl, you know, sitting over there, and I'd wink, and she'd smile. The next thing you know, we're up in her place, and it was all for free. You know, I'm saying, what happened? I look in the mirror. I said, you know.
We don't do the wink thing these days, man.
Oh,
We don't
man.
get them with the, come here, man. It's
Well,
more
yeah.
like, hey, baby, what's up? Come on over and
I
talk
know,
to
I
us,
know.
man. That's how I met my wife.
Yeah.
You know, hey, baby, come on over here. Let's talk for a bit, man. Things, man, life changes.
The wink worked 30 years ago. I want to
Yeah.
tell you. You know what I mean?
Let me try and bring it back. Why not?
Bring back the
Charlie,
wink.
You know? Yeah.
You know? But
Wow.
you know, those were the old days. But then, so we had, you know, it was babies having babies with my oldest daughter.
Yeah.
And then I was a bachelor for 10 years, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thoroughly.
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And then I met a woman, fell in love.
Yeah.
You know, and she had, it was both of our second marriages, and she had 3 children from her first marriage, and it was a boy, my stepson. He was barely 5, and the two girls, my stepdaughters, were 6 and 7.
Kind of like the Brady Bunch.
Yeah. Well,
a little something.
but my oldest daughter was living with my ex-wife.
Okay.
Then we had 2 more together. We had
Nice.
my son.
Okay.
All right, who's 24, good man, good boy, and my daughter, who's 23.
Yeah.
So and the good news is I just stopped paying child support, and so after I don't know how many years, and and hopefully if I can get my youngest daughter to start paying her own car insurance and cell phone bill, I'll be good.
It'd be all good.
I'll be good. But the only reason I got launched on that whole thing is that'll be your 2 little girls that are 3 and 6. I mean, honest to God, it's like you step outside to have a cigarette and you come back and they're 16 and they want a car.
Yeah.
Like
That's how
that.
it goes.
I mean, you got to cherish these moments.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like you said, you didn't give your wife that last "I love you."
Yeah, yeah.
Never leave your kids without saying that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even if it's only like 20 minutes that at night you can spend with their homework. You know what I mean? Just showing them that you care. You know what I mean? That's wicked important too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Things were getting rough, man. Just between me and the wife, love her to death, definitely in love. But again, work became my life, and I highly recommend when you get into something like the police force or anything that requires attention for you to be there. Make sure you stick real tight with the family. When you get a chance to tell your wife, your children that you love them, let them know. And we were going through our troubles. I'm not afraid to say that on TV, man. But that's how relationships are. Exactly.
No relationship is perfect.
It's a sad thing, man, because she did everything for me, Charlie.
You're gonna make it through all right.
Yeah,
you're gonna make it through all right, man. And I'm looking forward.
Thank you so much.
To helping you as much as I can. Like I say, don't do the rentals usually, but I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna get you and the girls out of that bad place within the next week. And I'd like to thank all of you who tuned in today to Let's Talk Real Estate. And if you have an idea for a show that you'd like to appear on, send an email to letstalkrealestate@verizon.net. In the subject line, put "Be a Guest," and then give me a little breakdown of what you'd like to talk about, and we may have you here one day on Let's Talk Real Estate. Stay safe. Thanks, Talli.
Thank you, Charlie.
All right.